Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Tournament Talk. We are looking at tournament rosters for all of the teams that have been spawned in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook. We are kind of not sure what the average tournament format is going to look like next year, but every Blood Bowl tournament ever is basically a different format. So we're going to put together some 1100 lists, some 1.1 million and some 1.2 million lists with the view that actually one of these is going to be close enough for you to add or take 50k away. This will give you an idea of what you can run if you want to run this team at a tournament, and also what you're likely to be up against when tournaments start up again next year. And today we are going to be looking at human tournament rosters. And first up, we have got the human No Ogre build. Okay, so the human team is a fantastic team. It's got better this edition as well, with a couple of additions and a couple of tweaks. The Blitzers are just one of the top 5 Blitzers in the game. They are a fantastic positional, and with this team you can take 4 of them. Okay, that's movement 7, strength 3, they come with block. They've got a really good access to skills. So this roster here comes in at 1080. You get 4 Blitzers, 2 throwers, 2 catchers, 5 linemen, 3 rerolls, and an apothecary. So you get a bit of absolutely everything. You've got 4 very good combat players. You've got 2 of the best throwers in the game in the human thrower there. Sure hands, pass, movement 6, and passing 2+, makes that thrower very effective. Sure hands makes it worth running a second one, although if you wanted to, you could drop a thrower, replace it with a lineman, and that would give you 50k left over. You could take a 4th reroll or another lineman for your bench. 2 catchers as well. Catchers are pretty decent. Okay, so they're movement 8. They've got catch dodge. They are only edge 3 and they're strength 2, which means that you've got really effective speed pieces. They're 65k, so they're cheap enough to include, and they can perform several options. We've got 5 linemen. The linemen are decent, but 3 rerolls and that apothecary means that any one of these players is sticking around, and you've got resilience anyway. So it's solid. It's solid. So blitzers skills wise, but you've got 4 of them. You can build them in different ways depending on the skills that you are allowed in the tournament. It will be different in each one. And humans are now tier 1, so you're less likely to get 1 or more double skills. But blitzers, guard, mighty blow. They are there to support, or they are there to destroy. They also, with a bit of tackle, play a very effective safety game. Movement 7 with block. They are going to be able to protect your backfield, and having tackle means that they are going to be able to stomp on any sneaky gutter runners that come through. If you've got a double, making them blodgers is never, ever bad. Basically, you can't go wrong with blitzers. The throwers are interesting. Now, in this roster, you've actually got 2 catchers, and you've got a decent bench. What are we looking at? 4, 8, 13 players. So you don't even need to run the catchers unless you're on the offense. Giving these guys, you've got 3 rerolls with the potential to pick up a 4th. Giving them accurate, I think, is probably one of the better passing skills if you want to be passing. They're passing 2+ already. Giving them accurate means that quick and short passes get even better. So it's a 1+ and a 2+ pass. So it's 2+, 2+. That's 6 extra squares. So that is a pass of up to 6 squares on a 2+ with a reroll. Nothing in Blood Bowl is certain, but that's pretty close. On the ball is also another really good skill for these guys. Giving them 3 squares to react to the ball means that actually they are essentially in the first turn of the game. Movement 9, sure hands, edge 3+. That's not bad at all. Taking leader on them if your roster gets a little bit lean will get you that extra reroll. You won't often need to do that unless you're running some super powered stars, which we will absolutely look at in a second. What else do we put? The block. Block makes them pretty good as well. Strength 3. Strength 3 blockers, and then being able to support the blitzers is not bad, and it will also protect them if they are carrying the ball. Sure hands will protect against strip ball, and block will protect against most attackers. Very useful. Catchers themselves, you've got kind of 2 options with them. They can be used as catcher runners, okay, so block to protect them from being blocked down, or diving catch to mean that they're actually catching on a 2+, because I believe that diving catch gives +1 if you are catching an accurate pass. So they're 3+ with catch already, so that's 3+ with a reroll. But as everybody who ever has tried to pick up the ball with a with a human thrower with sure hands, that 3+ with a reroll can be a bit rubbish. Now let me just bring up the skill here because I want to double check, because I want to try very hard to give you as good a bit as possible. That's diving tackle. That's not the right one. Diving catch. This player may attempt to catch the ball if a pass, throw-in or kick-off causes it to land in a square within their tackle zone after scattering or deviating. This skill does not allow this player to attempt to catch the ball if it bounces into a square within their tackle zone. Okay, fine. Additionally, this player may apply +1 modifier to attempt to catch an accurate pass if they occupy the target square. So what you can achieve by this is a movement 8 player that's catching the ball with catch on a 2+ in the open. Pairing that up with your throwers, who are passing 2+ anyway, you get a incredibly effective short passing game, which I'm a huge fan of because I just think it's quite exciting. But being able to stretch that ball so easily makes it fantastic. On top of that, because of the movement 8, actually giving them dirty player or sneaky git will make them really good cheeky little foulers. Now that's often what you see them brought in a league. They'll bring in a catcher, he'll run around, do some fouling, but also gives you movement 8 to help score if you want to. So in a tournament situation, you've got players, you can put dirty player on alignment, absolutely, but sneaky git, which is agility, which is normal for the catchers, means they can run, foul, and then carry on running, which with movement 8 means they've actually got a really good bit of flexibility. Sneaky git got kind of boosted, and I really like it. With alignment, kick is never a bad skill. You don't need it with humans. They don't massively have the speed to be able to cut a team off in half, but pinning your opponent at the back or pinning them close and then mobbing is never a bad tactic. So if you've got a spare skill, kick is not terrible. And this roster's basically got everything for the humans with the exception of the ogre, so they will do very human-y things. I am a fan, and this is only 1080, so basically it just gets better from here. And talking of getting better from here, we've got the 1100 ogre build now. So this one comes in at 1085. You get 1 ogre, 4 blitzers, 1 thrower, 1 catcher, 4 linemen, and 2 halflings with 3 rerolls for 1085. So how many players does that give you? 6, 10, 11, 12, 13 players. Be aware, 3 of them are strength 2. Now, the cool thing is with the catcher is you can downgrade them to a lineman if you're worried about your strength. There's some flexibility here with the costings of this team. In fact, you've got enough cash to upgrade a lineman to another catcher if you want to go big. You've got the thrower for sure hands. He does have that 2+ pass, so that actually he can shovel it off if he needs to, but he is going to be your primary ball carrier, stretch playing to your blitzers. You have an ogre in this one. Okay, so the human ogre is a fantastic piece. It just accentuates the rest of the team. So the ogre and the 4 blitzers gives you 5 solid combat pieces, and that ogre, who will often be taking guard, will make those humans even better. If you've got a double, block is never bad on the ogre. Break tackle got worse for big guys, but where the ogre is agility 4+, it's strength 5, so it adds +2 to the dodge. So the ogre is still dodging on a 2+ using break tackle, so that's also not bad. If you can stack skills, guard, break, tackle works superbly on an ogre because you can use that movement to keep that guard exactly where you want it forever because strength 5. The only other thing in this roster is that we've got halflings, so humans can take up to 3 halfling players. Now, these halflings are here to support the ogre, essentially. So you've got an opportunity at 1 turn touchdown using the ogres and the halflings. But also, if you look at the skill selections, they can take Sneaky Git on a regular, which is useful for fouling. For a double, you could chuck Stompy Dirty Player on them. But also, if you've got a double, Break Tackle will mean that the halflings are dodging around on a 2+ with rerolls and stunty. So it is 2+ everywhere, unless you've got Prehensile Tail or something shenanigansy going on. 2+ dodging around halfling makes them a really effective runner on the human team. You've got all this combat power at the top, right? So your team is going to be solid. They're going to be up for a brawl. They will lose out ever so slightly to orcs and black orcs probably, but otherwise, and of course lizards. But otherwise, they are going to be in a really good spot. You're going to have some skills, and it's going to be guard probably on those blitzers. You've got enough rerolls that you don't need to take leader on the thrower, so that's another skill. So actually, you're looking at having 4 guard pieces or guard mighty blow pieces in this team. So you've got plenty of strength. Having some halflings and some catchers just means that your ball maneuvering is going to be better. And you've still got enough rerolls to pick it up. So really interesting. You can, of course, drop those 2 guys, which is 60k, in for another catcher or another lineman. So you've got loads of flexibility with this roster. I like this one. You've got 2 halflings there that can do some stomping and some throw teammate stuff with the ogre, which is just going to be really, really, really fun. And we talk about flexibility with the human roster. They can take Griff at 1100. Okay, you have to give up quite a lot of stuff, but it can be done. So Griff Overworld is one of the best star players in the game. He has movement 8 or movement 7 or something ridiculous with a bunch of skills. Let's go check. You wouldn't think I've done a video about him, would you? And mention him millions of times. Okay, Griff Overworld is movement 7, strength 4, agility 2+, passing 3+, armor 9+, block, dodge, fend, loner 3+, sprint, sure feet, and once per game he gets to auto pro a dice. So this guy is an absolute house and does everything. Okay, really big superstar at 1100, and you don't even have to give up that much. So your roster contains Griff, 4 blitzers, okay, some of the best positionals in the game, the human thrower, which is one of the best throwers in the game, 6 linemen who are just fine, and 2 rerolls. So one thing to watch out for this is at 1100 you do have to sacrifice your rerolls, but think about this. At 1150 that's 3 rerolls, you are sorted. At 1200 that's 3 rerolls and another lineman, or you upgrade a lineman to a catcher. You've got some stuff to do to get that 3rd reroll, which is up to you whether you want it or not. Chucking leader on a thrower is not a bad way to get that roll. And then you've got thrower, who's great at ball carrying. You've got 4 blitzers and Griff Overworld, who are just going to be in a really solid position to brawl and score. Really cool. And that's only 1100, which means any other star player that these guys can take, because Griff is 280, with the exception of Morg, who's 340. There are no star players that are more expensive than Griff that the humans can take. So you can check this roster. You can replace Griff with Deep Root if you wanted to, with Grack and Crumbleberry. Zug, you can fit any star player you like at 1100 with this build and actually farm out extra cash. So those guys who are 220, so Zug downwards, so that's the White Dwarf, Grim Ironjaw and Carla Von Kill, you can take all those at 1100 with a 3rd reroll. Talking of Grack and Crumbleberry, here we go. We've got the Grack attack. It's 1200. Bang on the money. Grack and Crumbleberry and the Ogre and 4 blitzers. You've got 1 human thrower. You've got 3 halflings and 4 linemen with 2 rerolls. So you do want to be using your leader skill to grab a 3rd reroll there. But look at this roster. You get 2 ogres. One's kicking, one's throwing. You've got 3 halflings plus Crumbleberry, who comes with sure hands. 4 human blitzers, and you've still got the thrower, and you've still got 4 linemen. Now you can check 2 of those halflings, I believe, into 1 lineman, and you'd still have enough players. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13. Yeah, you can drop 2 halflings, pick up a lineman, and have 12 players, or get that 3rd reroll. There's some stuff you can do, but this way you get 4 stunty players, 4 blitzers, 2 ogres. It's a very different team, and I think it's going to be insanely fun because you can kick and you can throw at the same time, and you've also got 4 blitzers and two ogres. Okay, this becomes an absolute machine. Yes, it looks a bit vulnerable because you've got halflings, but like I said, you can sell those off and just take linemen if you want. I think it's more entertaining to have have a bunch of big guys, little guys, and your humans in the middle, but you can play with the cash and make that 1 halfling and 1 lineman instead. I prefer to have a bench because the plan is to kick and throw them and just knock them about. So Grack and Crumbleberry at 1200, 2 ogres, the double build. You're going to have an absolutely great time. And lastly, we've got a 1200 Zug build, and the reason we use Zug is because he's 220. Carla Von Kill, the White Dwarf, Grim Ironjaw, these are all star players that are less than that, between 220, 210 and 200. So by looking at what you can take with Zug, you can tailor it to your own cost. So we've just seen Grack and Crumbleberry. This is essentially also a 2 ogre build, except Zug is technically better than an ogre, but he can't throw stuff. So for 1200 or 1190, you can get Zug, an ogre, 4 blitzers, 1 thrower, 2 halflings, 4 linemen, and 3 rerolls. So what's that? 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Technically, you can farm off both those halflings and take an extra lineman instead if you want to. There's bits you can do there with cost management, drop a halfling, a booster up to a boost somebody else up to a catcher, things like that. But the point is that at 1200 you can comfortably take basically any star player you want, but you will easily be able to get 2 strength 5 pieces and still have all of your team. That's the most important thing, is that you can do this with other teams, but with humans, because they're so cheap, essentially you just take a 1 million starting league team and add a star player. That's just fantastic. Humans are going to be really fun to run. Their players are solid. their players will do exactly what they're supposed to do. None of them are individual superstars. Okay, there's no War Dancer, there's no Gutter Runners, but together they form a incredibly consistent team, and you get to add a weapon, whether it's Zug to murder, Grack to do ogre things, or Carla or Griff to just dance around and score touchdowns. Humans are going to have so much fun building rosters in this tournament environment, and I cannot wait to see what you guys brew up. So let me know in the comments below what you think of these rosters. Let me know the ones you're looking forward to running or ones we've missed. But obviously, Grack and Crumbleberry for me. I'm very much looking forward to seeing humans in Blood Bowl 2020. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you again tomorrow for some more tournament rosters.